Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the show. I'm Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network, and tonight we have a good one here. It is race number 7 of the American Sim Racing Club Street Stock Series here at IRP. Here tonight we jump into the middle of qualifying. So right now, Andrew Payne sits atop of the board with a 23.73. We are looking now at Dave Payne lap number 1. Good enough for P number 10. That does put him inside the invert. Remember, 12-car invert here all season long. So as long as you're in there, you are inside the invert. Payne second lap going to be a little bit better at 23.85. That'll bump him up to P number 9 here tonight. Then right to the stripe right now is the 55 machine of Scott Negus. Negus will jump all the way up to P number 8. So the 55 machine here inside of the invert right now. Zach Coyer sits on the bubble here with about 4 cars yet to take a time, and they're about to run out of time here. So once again, big congrats to Andrew Payne here tonight, rocking some patriotic paint schemes here, of course, with it being 4th of July weekend this weekend. So Payne with a new paint scheme coming out swinging with the quick time here tonight. So big congrats to Andrew as that'll wrap things on up. You can see where people have shaken on out after qualifying, taking their best lap of the 2. And now we get ready to head on over to our warm-up. So a quick 2-minute warm-up, and then we will turn these cars loose for our 75 laps here tonight at IRP. Let's take a look here at some race information here tonight for IRP. A nice cool 65-degree night, so these cars are going to be ripping out here tonight. Of course, looks like no clouds, totally clear, only 1 mile/hour wind, so it's going to be these drivers versus this racetrack for the 75 laps here. Track temperature nice and cool as well, 65 degrees at this 2/3 mile racetrack. Of course, something that makes this place special is that low banking and the wide surface area that allows cars to, kind of go whichever lane they want. We'll probably see the preferred line be the middle to top side, but if someone gets a big run, they can go all the way down to that apron, maybe pull a slide job or two to try and get up to the front. You want to find out more, check out American Sim Racing Club on Facebook. And of course, we got to thank all the sponsors here at ASRC, that being LaPlante Racing Products, Boardwalk Subs, as well as Postma Flooring. So cars out here just ripping their final laps here before the race, shaking everything down, making sure everything is where they need to be as we get ready to turn them loose. Like I said, folks, 75 laps last night in the late model stocks. We did 125 laps. I believe had 4 or 5 cautions, and that race was done under an hour. So I have a feeling that will be a very similar case here tonight. This race, especially if we get some long green flag runs, will fly on by before everything is said and done. So warm-up wraps on up here. So let's get ready to head down trackside to go through tonight's starting lineup for race number 7 of the American Sim Racing Club Street Stock Series. Folks, here we go. The starting lineup for race number 7 will look like the following. Leading the field to green here tonight will be the 13 machine. That is Zach Cold Beer Coyer leading the field to the green flag. Can he get redemption from a few weeks ago at Myrtle Beach? We'll find out in a short 75 laps. Just outside, that is the quick time and Rowdy Energy number 18 machine, that being piloted by our buddy up north. It is Devin McDonald rolling off on the outside of row number 1. Then we head off to row number 2, starting in P number 3. That is the 38 machine of Dave Payton. Starting in 4th will be the 51 machine. That is Ron the Hitman Hart. And rounding out the top 5, that going to the double 5, the 55 of Scott Negus. Rolling off 6th is the 88. That is Chuck Darling. Then 7th is JJ McCrae and the 78 machine. Logan Powers here makes another start in the American Sim Racing Club here tonight. He will roll off P number 8. Then starting in 9th goes to the car number 9. That is Anthony Danta rolling off 9th. Then we head back to 10th here. And this is our points leader coming into tonight. Has a 1-point advantage over the guy starting in 12th, Tim Rogers. And the 48 machine comes into tonight with the points lead. Can he hang on to it? Then we head back to P number 11. Second quickest qualifier here tonight is the 66. That is Scott Roachford. Then we head to our quick time qualifier. That is our guy second in points, 1 point back. Lost it last week, hoping to get it back. It is the 93 of Andrew Payne. Then behind Payne, the rest of the field will look like the following. Rolling off 13th is the 145. That is Ace Hart. 14th going to the 41 machine of Caleb Ramsey. Ramsey picking up his first ever win a few weeks ago. He's hoping to visit victory lane again this season. Regan Ford in the 20 machine will start 15th. Then it would be Tanner Tallarico, but he is race control. So then we head back to 17th. That being the 86 of Stephen Hoffman. Scott Roachford in the 77 will move up to 16th, but would start P number 17 in the 077. And then starting last on the field, actually having some issues stopping on track, is Ty Delphia. We'll see if Ty can get that rolling, what kind of issues he's having, because like we said here, folks, he has stopped on the track and looks like does jump to pit road here. So not sure, actually, as he gets it rocking and rolling again, so he'll have to quickly try and catch the back of the field as we get ready to rock and roll. Lights are out around the speedway. We get ready to do battle for 75 laps here at IRP. Front row, like I said before, going to be Coyer leading the field to green and McDonald to his outside. Here we go into the restart zone. Zach Coyer on the loud pedal early, and we go green flag racing here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Coyer's going to get the lead down into turn number 1, side-by-side battle for second, as Dave Payne here trying to work to the inside of the 18 of Devin McDonald. McDonald will have the run down the backstretch. Here comes Ron Hart up in lane number 2. Hart will take over P number 3 as Payton will find some opening here off of turn number 4. He will be back by himself in a lane as right behind them side by side for a top 5 running spot. out in front, everyone kind of running where they want to be here at the moment. As now Chuck Darling to the outside of Dave Payton. Darling trying to be high, wide, and handsome here tonight. And so far, picking them up and putting them down. Out in front, though, Devin McDonald will lead at the stripe. So McDonald here going to try and get to the race lead early. He is battling Zach Hoyer here for the race lead side by side, but reverse lanes as when they took the green flag. McDonald trying to find something down low. Hoyer just trying to keep that momentum, hold off that 18 machine if he can. Further on back, Andrew Payne dropping through the field. I have a feeling Payne big time tire saving mode here in the 93 machine. He is back to 15th. Another car maybe saving a lot of tire. That being the 48 of Tim Rogers. He falls outside of the top 10 as well. So those will be two cars we'll have to keep an eye on later in this race. Also another one of those cars too. He started towards the back, but he is very good when it comes to long run. That being the 86 machine of Stephen Hoffman. As man, these leaders continue to race side by side out here in front, putting on a great show. Further on back here, Scott Negus trying to work over Dave Payne. Here comes Anthony Danta as well in the 9. He could bring along Logan Powers as well as JJ McCrae, as Powers kind of searching around this racetrack, trying to find that momentum, trying to find where this car might be the quickest, whether it's the shortest way around the racetrack, that being right on that either first seam or all the way to that yellow line, or else will it be where momentum's at and running that upper lane, that upper hash mark. We of course will find on out here as this run continues to go on. First 7 laps clean and green. Negus, Payton still side by side. Same with the race lead. I mean, Dev McDonald, Zach Hoyer still side by side, as McDonald now has the advantage over the 13 machine. McDonald about a half a car length in front. Can he clear off at turn number 4? Can't quite do it that time. Further on back, Dave Payne able to get up to the outside, but Anthony Danta was able to get around the 38 machine. So Danta now up to P number 6. And best battle on the racetrack still is for this race lead between these two drivers. Neither of them giving way, neither of them giving up, and even with them side by side, still running good pace compared to the guys around him. I mean, still in the either the low 2s or the high 1s, and that's about what the rest of the field is running. So even though these guys are side by side, they are not slowing down each other's pace whatsoever at the moment. Here off at turn number 4 now, Zach Hoyer has the advantage going into turn number 1. He is now about a half a car length in front of the 18 machine. So, oh, it's contact there off of turn number 2. They'll lean on each other just a little bit. And with that bobble there, Dev McDonald probably just had to get out of that throttle. And with that, that allows Zach Hoyer to once again reclaim the race lead here. So the battle for the race lead cools on off just a little bit. We head back a little bit further here as now we see Caleb Ramsey here in the 41 machine trying to get up through the field here. He was able to get around JJ McCrae, now trying to work over Logan Powers for the P number 8 position. Was able to get to the inside. Oh, it gives Powers a big shot in the back end there at the apex. As with that, McCrae will now look to the inside. He smells a little bit of blood in the water, so he will see what he can do to the inside of the 41. Can't quite keep the momentum, so Ramsey will hang on to P number 9 here. I don't think Ramsey realized how kind of easy Powers was maybe taking it at the apex and just gave him a little shot in the shorts there last time by. Like I said here, these are the cars we may want to keep an eye on if this race goes green flag for a while. That being Stephen Hoffman, Tim Rogers, Andrew Payne, currently sitting 14th, 15th, and 16th. But I don't think they'll be there for long, especially as these guys continue to burn off these tires and that fuel. Once again, out in front, Devin McDonald trying to make something work to the inside of our race leader here. side by side for the race lead here. Once again, McDonald had a good run. We'll try and see if he can. I think the only way he can get around is he has to hope Zach Coyer makes a mistake, whether he gets loose, tight, gets the walls. He needs to make some sort of mistake. That is pretty much the only way I see Dev McDonald getting around this 13 machine. Looks like Coyer will hold off another charge from the 18, so Coyer will stay out in front. Hasn't led all the laps though, because Dev McDonald has stolen a few of those away from the 13 machine, but right now Zach Coyer sits in the best spot of the field, leading the way here with already 16 laps down, and already getting close to about 50 laps to go. Further on back here, once again looking at that battle for the 7th position here, as Caleb Ramsey once again trying to work over Logan Powers. Powers up top in lane number 2. Down low is Caleb Ramsey riding on board with Ramsey, looking at that leaf spring suspension here, doing work around this track, and you can just see how much these cars are loaded up. And this track, even though it's flat, it's not the smoothest. There's still some killer bumps, especially a really big bump right here going into turn number 1, right about there. It can unload the car, make you do funky stuff, and you can lose grip for a second, then all of a sudden it comes slamming back down. So that is one of the spots where you have to be very careful. As out in front though, Devin McDonald takes over the point. He finally was able to complete the pass on Zach Coyer. So Devin McDonald here leads the way in the 18 machine. Coyer will fall back to second, but right on the tail tank of our race leader. Then it is Ron Hart, and look at this, Anthony Danta and that number 9 machine. He is up to P number 4. He has made it up 5 spots, our second biggest mover of the night. The only car that has passed more other cars is this 41 machine of Caleb Ramsey. And actually, just now, Scott Roachford was able to get around Dave Payne. So Roachford also sits about +6 here in these first 20 laps. Out in front though, battle for the race lead, not done yet. Oh man, Dev McDonald gets a piece of the wall off of turn number 4. That is what Zach Coyer needs down low, and he will take advantage of that. Zach Coyer back to the point here tonight. Dev McDonald here right on the back bumper of Cold Beer Coyer here. Coyer will drift up just a little bit as they approach the apex. McDonald will get that car to pivot nicely, drive on down the racetrack, and you can see the big run that you get if you can time it right. I mean, almost dead even by the time they get to turn number 1. As we ride on board once again with Dev McDonald here with that suspension cam, and you can now see how close Ron Hart is, as we get our first caution of the night. That will slow the field down, and I believe the 31 machine, of Logan Powers involved in this one. Powers able to get that car rolling, but you can see a little bit of left side damage both to the left front quarter panel and the left rear quarter panels. Let's take a look to see what happened to Logan Powers here to bring out caution flag number 1 of the night. So here going into turn number 1, Caleb Ramsey right on the back bumper. Ramsey gives him a shot, not as much as before, but it was enough to upset that race car. Then Powers just trying to save that race car. JJ McCrae having nowhere to go. Wow, Regan Ford got lucky he was able to get through that one. And Powers will whip it to the right. And I think everyone else just able to get on by, not collect the 31 machine. So he will have a little bit damage, but could have been a lot worse. His night not going to be over yet for the 31 machine, as we see Powers down on pit road. So here under the first caution flag of the evening, we will see the 50 lap to go mark. So it will be a third of the way done already in tonight's race. I feel like Racing Action, just got started. I mean, a great battle for the race lead here between Coyer and McDonald. But we'll have to see how this works on out. Now the field will bunch back up. And, those guys that probably took care of those tires gonna turn it up just a little bit more than what we saw. As I'm here from race control here, we should be going back to green here, so gonna be a quickie caution. So the rest of the field gonna re-rack, restack, and we get ready to go green flag racing. As the pace truck here heads down pit road, Zach Hoyer moves up to lane number 2, so he will restart on the outside lane. He has control though, as here we go, Zach Hoyer on the loud pedal. We go back to green flag racing as contact as Devin McDonald goes around, and I believe Ron Hart involved maybe with that one as well. McDonald will get that car rolling, but we'll lose that nose cone here. So right on the restart, that will bring out our second caution, and let's try and zoom on in and see what happened. As here we go, the 18 machine fires on off, good in second gear, and then yeah, kind of on his face. I think if I had to guess, the 18 machine missed a shift there. Ron Hart just had nowhere to go. I mean, when things happen in that quick, cars on top of each other, it is so hard to react that quickly to a car kind of not going all of a sudden. So hopefully Devin McDonald is able to get down on pit road, get that car repaired a little bit, and continue to fight, because I tell you what, him and Zach Hoyer will put on a great show out in front of the field. Looks like Logan Powers back down onto pit road. But with that calamity on the inside lane, look out, folks. Zach Hoyer's buddy here, Anthony Danta, up into row number 2, and I should say P number 2, as Danta now gets to restart on the front row here during now our second caution of the night. And it looks like here Zach Hoyer once again gonna elect the outside lane as a lane of preference here for the restart. So that moved the 9 car inside of row number 1. Lights are out on the pace truck as well as around the speedway, so we are going green flag racing here. Next time by, it's gonna be Hoyer Danta on the front row here. Zach Hoyer got away with a good start last time. Can he get another one? Here we go. Hoyer off a little bit early there. Was still inside of the banner. We'll have to see what race control thinks of that. But here we go. We are back green flag race in front 2 by themselves. Ron Hart able to get clear. Chuck Darling. Then further on back side by side, Tim Rogers maybe into the wall. He will lose a handful of spots there in just one corner. Further up towards the front here, Regan Ford picking his way through the field. Ford up 9 positions from where he started, and he's trying to get another one, trying to get around that red 55 machine. As out in front, Anthony Danta making it work on the inside of Zach Hoyer down the backstretch. They will race there, and I think Danta just needs to sail it in one of these corners and he will get clear, and that's exactly what he'll do through 3 and 4. New race leader off of turn number 4, Anthony Danta in the 9 out in front. Still that battle for P number 5 rages on here. That 55 gonna lean on the 20 just a little bit. They'll drag race down the backstretch. Some more contact between the 2 of them here as Ford tries to make that momentum work up in lane number 2. And then Scott just trying to find some momentum down low as they continue to trade paint. And that red and white car is going to get some more red on that car here, but it looks like here off turn number 2, the 55 will get clear. Now, how quickly will McRae and Scott Roachford sort themselves out, because McRae might be the meat in the middle here between a Roachford sandwich, as here comes Scott Roachford in that 77 machine. This 77, man, it seems like all season long will be quietly working his way to the front of the field and, you know, consistently clicking off those top 10 finishes. I think coming into tonight, I'm going to double check here just to make sure I have it right. And yeah, coming into tonight, you know, the 77 sits 13 in points, and that is very impressive. As you see, you know, each and every week we have about 18 plus cars. This is probably one of our lower car counts, with it being the holiday weekend, but very, very impressive to see here. As the 66 and the 78 continue to work side by side here. We'll take the 55 starting to draw away from this pack just a little bit, starting to catch now the back of the 88 of Chuck Darling. Looks like now Stephen Roachford able to get clear from the 78. Here comes now Scott Roachford trying to fill the gap up in the high lane. Oh, his contact going into turn number one. Scott Roachford almost gets turned around. Wow, how did he hang on to that race car? That was a heck of a save there by Scott. That could have been very, very bad. Only will end up, it looks like, losing about 2 spots. Could have been a lot worse, but we'll have to set his kind of visor back down, try and get it as, oh, Andrew Payne, big time sideways. Not sure if he got some help or whatnot, but that thing was way sideways there off of turn number 4. Last time by, the 9 cars saw the cross flags here tonight. Halfway down, halfway home in race number 7. Anthony Danta leads the way. Zach Hoyer in second. Ron Hart sits P number 3. Fourth going to Chuck Darling. And then it is Scott Negus rounding out the top 5 here. Everyone here starting to spread on out just a little bit, as everyone trying to find the right pace they want to run. And I'm kind of impressed. Only really Stephen Hoffman has started to make his way through the field, as Hoffman, though, having a little bit of connection issues. He's blinking a little bit here, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Hopefully he doesn't have to park that race car, but that would be a tough break for him. Last week at Sobo, he jumped in these street stocks. Doesn't get too much of a chance to race these, and when he did, he ended up on the podium. I wouldn't expect anything less here tonight. So just after the halfway point, I say I'm going to take a break from yapping at you folks, and we're going to let the cars do the talking with a little turn 3, turn it up here tonight at IRP. Alrighty folks, we come back here to live racing action here, and yeah, Stephen Hoffman was told blinking too much. That is why the 86 car sits kind of towards the back of the field. NP number 15 had to drop on back, and that's the reason why they're still kind of still blinking out here tonight. So as here we go, battle for just outside of the top 10 here, as Ty Delphia, Caleb Ramsey inches off of each other. Let's ride on board with the 13 machine and just see how close these two cars are getting here tonight. I mean, it doesn't get too much closer than that, folks, here, as Ty tries to hold off a race winner this season in the 41 machine. Was able to do it that time by in turns 1 and 2 here, so it looks like they're going to be continuing to see what kind of momentum they can run here. As you can see, the 41 can run just a little bit lower, but Ty here, a nice kind of arc into the corner, able to drive pretty straight off the corner, and that's working pretty well for this 13 VT machine. Up towards the front though, kind of single filed on out. Everyone kind of running their lines here. Here we get a battle kind of shaping on up a little bit for the 6th position. You can see the damage to the nose of the 66 machine. That coming during caution number 1 of the night when Logan Powers got turned on around here. So the 66 here has the 20 in his sights. What kind of move can he do? Let's ride on board with Scott Roachford here trying to make the pass on the 20 of Regan Ford. And you can hear just how long these drivers are into the throttle here at this racetrack. And definitely drive it in very, very deep, especially when you're running the high line like most of these cars are running here tonight. Everyone just trying to find that magic center speed, see what that mile per hour is to get that car still to cut and then get that really, really good drive off here without taking down one of those walls, as we see Regan Ford flirting with it there off of turn number 4. Up in front though, Zach Coyer under fire. This is from Ron Hart. Hart now looks to the inside of the 13. Hart with a big send, a slide job here on asphalt. As, they make contact there off of turn number 4, but Ron Hart in the preferred lane now, up in lane number 2 as they continue to make contact there in turns 1 and 2. They'll trade a little bit of paint here and continue to race on. Right now, Ron Hart with the preferred lane. Coyer gonna try and move up as much as he can. Ron Hart trying to take as much as he can because Hart can't move up too much more because you can see those black speckles starting to come up on the racetrack, especially against the wall. That is the marbles, that is rubber coming off of these tires, and that stuff is very, very loose. You don't want to be stuck into that part for too long here tonight. As, man, they continue to lean on each other. This is some hard-fought racing here, and Chuck Darling maybe sitting in the catbird seat here, because if these two continue to go elbows out racing, you know, Chuck Darling could definitely be the beneficiary of that one. And here tonight, we see why this racing is so intense. That is because we are into the countdown clock here. 22 laps to go to make it to the end of this one here. And I think our GoPro here on the bottom side of these race cars may be a little bit too low here, as when these cars bottom on out, they, of course, you know, black on out just a little bit. Further on back here, we see some side-by-side racing. Scott Roachford here trying to work over the 78 machine of JJ McCrae. So Zach Coy, Ron Hart, that battle cools on off just a little bit. We head to this battle here, and it's far from over, as Scott Roachford now trying to work on the inside. JJ McCrae trying to keep it high, wide, and handsome up in lane number 2. Oh, big time contact there, just out of turn number 2. Both drivers trying to get any sort of advantage they can get. They know it's all about keeping that race car wound up as much as possible. Oh man, Scott Roachford, a big hit. Roachford will go around. He will spin down low. And we will actually stay green flag racing. So the 77 will get that thing back refired, get it back rolling. He will stay on the lead lap, but lose all that track position as a heartbreak for Scott Roachford, as he was battling inside of the top 10 here. The big beneficiary from that was Ty Delphia, was able to get around JJ McCrae for that 8th position. So McCrae will now move back to 9, and he has to be careful because some drivers that saved a lot of tires starting to use it on up. That being the 48 of Tim Rogers, who maybe gives a little right rear quarter panel to the 38 of Dave Payton. As Payton and now Payne will trade a little bit of paint here with 17 laps to go. Best battle on the speedway. We are currently looking at that right now. Out in front, though, Anthony Danta continues to lead the way. Zach Coyer hanging on to second. Ron Hart rounding out the top three. Still no changes between Chuck Darling fourth, Scott Negus fifth, Regan Ford still hanging on to sixth, Stephen Roachford still hanging on to seventh, and then eighth on back. We see it right here on screen. The 13 machine, the 78, now the 48 right there, as Andrew Payne still not able to get clear of Dave Payne. This is a battle just outside of the top 10 here, and Payne has to put the power down, has to get on the loud pedal, because now it's only 15 laps to go, and without a caution, you know, he could be sitting on the outside of the top 10 before it's all said and done. We're right on board with Dave Payne here. Oh, him and Payne make contact there as they both closed up on each other, and that could have been very bad. Payne could have been turned right rear into the wall there, but they will continue to keep it green, I should say, and facing in the right direction. Looks like Payne will finally get clear of the 38 machine. Right in front of them here, Tim Rogers working over the 78 of McRae. For second, though, Ron Hart able to get around Zach Coyer, so Hart up into P number 2. Coyer falls back to P number 3 here. Off of turn number 4 here, it looks like McRae here struggling with the handling of that 78 machine. He will get the wall once again off of turn number 4, so I have a feeling that right front definitely not where he wants it handling wise. Just trying to stop the bleeding as much as he can with now just 12 laps to go here tonight at IRP. You can see just how hard it is to make a pass. Even though Tim Rogers quickly able to catch a 78 car, it has taken multiple laps to get around the 78 car. And with them being stuck side by side now, Andrew Payne, Dave Payne, and Caleb Ramsey all joining into the fight here. How will this shake on out? Up in front though, now Zach Coyer, Chuck Darling goes side by side. This is a battle for P number 3. Darling and Coyer will make contact there. They will try and keep it facing in the right direction that time by from the flag man. It is 2 open palms, 10 laps to go as we have a battle for a podium spot late in this one. Chuck Darling trying to work on around the shorter distance. Zach Coyer trying to keep that momentum up in that high lane. Darling going to try and use up as much as the racetrack right at the apex, try and drive it on down, and Chuck Darling able to complete the pass, so the 88 up into P number 3 here late in this one. Towards the back here, Andrew Payne, a bit of a moment there off of turn number 4. Not sure, I think he definitely got loose, not sure if he got some help or what happened, but Payne now sits in P number 13 as Tim Rogers and JJ McRae still side by side. Oh, McRae way up the racetrack. Dave Payne goes around off the nose of Andrew Payne. Dave Payne will get that car righted here in just 1 second. He'll get it turned around, and oh man, that will bring out our 3rd caution of the evening here late into this one. Payne and Payne make contact there, and it's going to be a shootout to the finish to end this one, folks. Man, oh man, this is about to be exciting. What more does Ron Hart have in the tank? What more does our race leader Anthony Danta have in the tank? Chuck Darling now up into P number 3. Zach Coyer sits P number 4. And Regan Ford looking for his best career finish of the season. He sits in a top 5 spot. Man, oh man, it's going to be exciting. It will be about a 4-lap shootout, so don't go anywhere, folks. We will be back after a quick 30-second commercial break from our partner. Alrighty, folks, we come back here to Lucas Oil Raceway, and right here, Danta has the choose. Could be the most important choose of the night. He will choose the outside lane, the preferred lane we've seen all night long. But here we go. We saw Ron Hart pull an absolute slider on Coyer. Does Ron Hart have one more up his sleeve here? It's going to be a 4-lap shootout to the end of this one. Lights are out, the field is re-racked, restacked, and we get ready for a sprint to end things off for race number 7. Danta in control here, can fire off after that red banner at any time he would like. He will go nice and early. We go back to green flag racing here. Danta Hart will be single file going into turn number 1. Zach Coyer didn't get the greatest restart up in lane number 2. He will try and fight back on Chuck Darling. What more do these guys have with 4 laps to go? Further back through the field, we see 2x2 racing all throughout it. Further on back, Logan Powers down on the apron. Man, Zach Coyer right against the wall with 3 laps to go. He's trying to keep that nose to the outside of the 88, trying to do everything in his power to keep it up there here. And like I said before, that 20 machine of Regan Ford, career night so far for him. He's trying to get some more as he looks now to the inside of the 13 here off turn number 4. They will make contact. Ford will get a bit sideways, able to hang on to that race car, but here with popsicle sticks up in the air, Zach Coyer misses the corner. He will lose the spot to the 20 machine. Right behind them, intense racing here as these cars all bunched up. Oh, Coyer big time sideways. Zach Coyer will somehow hang on to their race car. Everyone else beating and banging. White flag, 1 more lap to go. Man, oh man, does everyone else make it through the field. Logan Powers goes around on the front stretch, 3 wide off of turn number 2. The field will bounce off of each other. Everyone will keep it straight. But here through 3 and 4 for the final time, Ron Hart, one final push, not enough, but it is going to be Anthony Danta picking up the win here in race number 7. Ron Hart will finish second. Chuck Darling will round out the podium as, man, some great racing through the field as some intense racing from about 6 on back. Man, oh man, fireworks going off, and that one was an intense one, but the man to claim it all will be the 9 car of Danta. He will burn it on down here on the front stretch and actually just park it right there on the start finish line. And a great run by this guy here. I can't wait to chat with him here. As, man, some great race in the field. Now all brings it down pit road. We'll see if that 9 machine here doing any burnouts or maybe just parking it nicely. As, yeah, that looks like it'll be the case. So we'll go to a quick commercial break, get everything lined on up for the interviews, and we'll be right back with our post-race show. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back in a few short minutes.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we come back here live to the post-race show, and the first driver we'll be talking to here tonight is our third place finisher, that being the 88 machine of Chuck Darling. Chuck, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Hey, what's going on, Brett? How you doing?
We are doing pretty good. How are we feeling after kind of a quick 75 laps here at IRP?
A little bit wore out. I mean, I listened to my teammate Ron there for a little bit, and we tried to play the tire strategy at the end, and it was, yeah, it was interesting to say the least.
Yeah, that it was. You know, you started inside pretty much halfway in the invert, you know, qualified 6, started P number 6, was able to, you know, slowly work your way up through the field, and it seemed like you had some pretty good pace, able to get around Zach Hoyer there, and then, of course, we end things in a kind of crazy, kind of short sprint to the finish, right?
Yeah, that was, I mean, Ron called the strategy about like kind of pacing, you know, kind of like, and we were just riding and riding, and they got battling up there, and then we got to Zach, and Zach put on a heck of a battle trying to stay in that third spot, and you know, him and Ron, I mean, it was great racing from my view. I mean, I had the best seat in the house watching that battle, and you know, I always try to race, you know, Zach clean, everybody clean, and you know, we got side by side, and I'm like, okay, don't throw it in there too hard. He's still out there. He's still out there. And I think we ran side by side for like 5 laps at least, and I think we touched once.
Yeah, and that seemed like the name of the game. You know, it was one thing to run down a car, but it was a whole nother animal, it seemed like, here tonight to get clear of a guy. I mean, every battle, it seemed like it took multiple laps to get around a car.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of like, you know, trying to be as steady as I could. I didn't want to wash up into him, but it was like right there at the end, it's like you almost had to throw it in a little bit harder to kind of wash up just a little bit to kind of make them, you know, think you're not giving them enough room and let them back out, and then you get the spot. But I mean, I had a blast. I mean, following my teammate up through there, you know, and then that battle with Zach. I mean, hats off to him. That was a great battle. But man, I'm happy with the third place finish after the last couple of weeks, and that penalty that I got during my win at Myrtle Beach. This kind of, yeah, this feels good.
Yeah, I bet it does. And, you know, kind of a heartbreak last night, Chuck, you know, only doing one lap here in the late model stocks, and then to rebound here tonight with a podium finish. Man, that's got to feel pretty good going into this holiday weekend, right?
Yeah, it sure does. I mean, it makes up for, you know, a couple of mistakes on my part, you know, had mishap at Dover, lost some points, you know, so hopefully this boosts me up in the points just a little bit. I said I wasn't going to run for points, but when we had that off week when I went camping, I'm like, okay, I'm going for it. So trying to get back and getting into the consistency of, you know, getting at least top 5 finishes. Always better to, you know, get a top 3, and then we get to talk to Brett the Jet.
Yeah, I tell you what, I always say it's a good night when you get to talk to the announcer after the race. And Chuck, that's what you had tonight. And speaking about those points, all 5 of the guys in front of you in points, you know, you beat them here tonight. So you made a lot of ground on a lot of different drivers. So that will definitely be exciting to watch here now that we're in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I normally just, you know, I have such bad luck and I don't pay attention to the points, but since I've been running fairly good at the start and then had that downslide and, you know, coming back tonight, now I'm gonna be a little bit more cautious, but I'm gonna be a little bit aggressive. You know, it helps when I've got, you know, a great teammate in Ron, you know, that kind of gives me a little pointers, you know, and especially with the way the setups are and the tire wear has been so far this season, it's like you just got to find that perfect balance of aggression and saving, and I think we had it nailed to a T. If we could have gotten around Zach a little bit quicker, I think we might have been able to chase Anthony down. But hats off to him for picking up the win. That was a hell of a race all the way around.
Yeah, that definitely was very impressive to see. And you guys, like you said, you and Ron able to go through the field like you did. And Chuck, I got to give you some flowers because here this season, you sit the second best average finishing position here of anyone this season so far.
There must be a lot of guys that have had bad luck at some point too.
Yeah, that's the joy of these 12 week long race seasons with no drop weeks, right? Everyone's at least going to have one bad one, and it's all about, like you said, finishing in those top 5 and getting those consistent finishes.
Yeah, that's the game plan going the rest of the way forward. I mean, I didn't expect, at the start to run that good, and I, got a win, which shocked me, and had that little bit of bad luck, and now get a third place. So, hopefully this just rolls into the rest of the season. We got some good tracks coming up, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we got some big tracks at that. Lucas Oil, one of the bigger tracks, but here coming up, how do we feel about, Richmond, USA, another good old short track, but then Darlington, Iowa, and of course, New Smyrna thrown in there as well to keep the short track racing alive here with these streeters as well.
I'll take the short tracks any day over the big tracks, even though I did get a pretty good finish at Bristol. I'm just not keen on the bigger tracks. I just don't know if it's, I'm more like I think my teammate Ron. I'm more into the technical aspect of like having to ride the brake and easy on the throttle and not just float it in wide open at some of the tracks. Richmond's it's gonna be kind of a make or break because I have a love-hate relationship. If I hit my marks, I'm good. If I don't, I suck. But it's all about having fun, coming back each week, trying to better yourself, and I'm looking forward more to New Smyrna, I think, because that's I think one of the better short tracks for me.
Yeah, I tell you what, that race should be a fantastic one here, especially with these street stocks and how they drive, high banking, tight corners. I mean, what could go wrong there, right?
Anything and everything could go wrong.
Oh, for sure. Well, Chuck, first and foremost, we got to thank you for, like you said, that dedication and spending your weeknights with us here. I mean, right now, looking at the kind of the stats and all that good stuff, you said, just outside of the top 5 for most ever starts in the league. So that is definitely very, very cool to see.
Yeah, I think I joined when Tanner and the guys were first starting it. I was trying to find somewhere to fit in and went to apply to one league, and he's like, "Hey, we're starting this one," and I was like, "Okay," and I've been here ever since. And it's gotten better and better every season. The level of competition, the drivers, everybody's picking up the pace, and it's really cool to come out here on a Tuesday or Wednesday night and just see how a little announcer from Bertrand Speedway stacks up against some of these real race car drivers.
Yeah, and I tell you what, you hold your own, Chuck. You do a great job coming out here and racing because it seems like every week, man, you're in the fight for the win, and it seems like 10 other drivers can be as well, and that's what makes racing really fun.
Yep, it sure does. And we've got a great group of guys here. My hat's off to, Tanner, the whole admin team. It's just been a blast to race with. It's like a club group, you know, atmosphere. And, we have our issues sometimes, but we all work them out. We come back the next week and we just try to race hard and, put on a good show. And hopefully everybody that tuned in enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think they did a great race, a lot of side by side action, and it was a good one. And like I said, Chuck, thanks again for being part of the racing action that we can enjoy. So before we let you go, my man, and celebrate the win, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and have you thank who you got to thank with either those sponsors, those teammates, or anyone else you want to give a shout out to on the broadcast here tonight.
Well, I got to thank the sponsors and marketing partners of the ASRC. Turn 3, you guys do a great job with the broadcast. Look forward to going back and watching it every night. Got to thank Calorico's Boardwalk Subs for being the caution sponsor, Postma Flooring for being the late model sponsor, LaPlante for the Triple Crown. I know we don't have Mark, race 1, but, shout out Mark. And on my car, I got to thank Brad Bergevin, Dead Short Race Car Wiring. I've got to thank Bertrand Speedway and Event Center. I've also got to thank Mark at Race One. Even though I'm running the old school paint and not his paint, I still will get my new paint for next season done through Mark at Race One Wraps. And of course, my lovely wife Brenda, the B and B&C Racing. We just celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary, so this is kind of a better outcome than last night, and it's kind of a celebratory mood this whole week.
Hey, that it is. In 25 years, man, that is awesome to hear. Congrats to you two.
Thanks, Brett. I got a gem when I got her. She makes my life better, and I couldn't do a lot of the stuff that I do without her help and support. So, I love her.
Oh, that's awesome to hear, Chuck. And yeah, once again, congrats with that, as well as congrats with the podium finish here tonight. So you, Chuck, my man, have yourself a great rest of the week. Go celebrate this, and go celebrate that chunk of points you just earned here tonight, my man.
Will do, Brett. Also got to give a shout out to my teammate, Ron. Without his advice on a lot of stuff, I wouldn't be as lucky and good as what I've become to be. Shout out to Ace, shout out to Jamie Prevost, and shout out to Pete Dillon, even though he wasn't here tonight. It's nice to have guys that you can bounce stuff off from, and I appreciate their support.
Yeah, I tell you what, it makes it that much more fun to race with and against those buddies, as well as pick those brains, because it always helps whether calming on down or getting in the right zone, right?
Yes, sir. All right, Brett, you have a good night, and we'll catch you on the flip side. You have a good and safe 4th of July.
Yep, you as well, Chuck. Go celebrate that independence, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again here in the future.
Yep, take care, bud.
Alrighty, folks, that was our runner-up finisher, the 88 of Chuck Darling. Now we'll head up to our P number 2 finisher, that being the 51 machine. It is Ron the Hitman Hart out here tonight. Ron, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yeah, I got you, Brett.
Alrighty, my man. Well, a good night when it's all said and done. How are we feeling after a kind of quick 75 laps?
I mean, good and bad. Second place is good. I feel like we had the right strategy and the right tires. Just got used up there a little by Zach Coyer, trying to get around him for second. And he well deserved. I wrecked him a couple weeks ago for the win at Myrtle Beach, and I knew it was going to be a chore getting around him. He roughed us up pretty good. Was able to hang on to it, but just cost us so much time to the 9 car. Just couldn't make that up.
Yeah, and luckily, when it's all said and done, getting a late race caution, able to catch up to the 9. I mean, what more did you need maybe to have a shot to make a move? Because we saw that impressive move you made one time on Coyer, that absolute send, and somehow, make it stick, slide in front of him. I thought if you had a run, you were going to do that exact same move.
Yeah, just beating and banging with Zach just killed the car and the tires. So just needed to get by him clean. And I had it done, and he just kept running to my left side and knocked me sideways 3-4 laps in a row. And again, no hard feelings. I cost him a win at Myrtle Beach, so it was well-deserved contact, but that just kind of put us behind there on tire wear. And when we got to Anthony, I still think we were better than him, but needed a few more laps to really get something to materialize.
Yeah, and it seemed like that inside line was so tough to make a pass. Of course, you were stuck down in that line, so then it was all about trying to get the momentum, and just like you said, probably very tough to do in those 4 short laps.
Yeah, just couldn't get a run, man. I was getting closer and closer every lap for sure. Would gain a little bit, and I threw a Hail Mary there in the 4 and just wasn't close enough to try to slide him like I did Coyer. So didn't want to get into him or anything. He didn't do me wrong, so settled for second.
Yep, and second, when all things said and done, not too bad when it's all considered. It at a very tough track, and these cars look like a handful. It seemed like they were pretty tough and very momentum-based.
Yeah, I felt like me and Chuck kind of talked, and we had the right strategy. Just run the seam, help it turn, keep the right rear under it the whole time, and I felt like we had the cars to beat. If it would have stayed green, we could have got by Zach there. So, I think we did it right. It just didn't work in our favor. I didn't really get loose at all. I felt like our tire wear was manageable. Seeing the 9, the 13, the 18, I was sliding around, and we didn't have that problem. So, I was happy with our strategy, and our speed just didn't work out.
Yeah, sadly it didn't, but still a lot of good racetracks coming up on the schedule. We have some bigger tracks, and we know you're a throttle down type of driver. Probably looking forward to those. We still got Darlington, I believe even Iowa, Richmond, of course, next week. How are we feeling with the races that are left for the 51 car?
Now the tracks you listed, Richmond's definitely not one of my favorite. That and Phoenix have probably been my worst two tracks in all of sim racing. So, we'll struggle there probably and get through it. But I think we'll be a contender at Darlington for sure, and probably pretty decent at Iowa. I like the tracks that have a lot of room. You can slide around and make passes, kind of like this one. Didn't do too good last night. Got a bunch of damage, but Richmond just isn't the best for us. But after that, I feel pretty good to try to get another win this season.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely one sitting again for you. You sit now tied with second with the most wins here. So, it's just that one away that you need. And I think, yeah, like you said, a lot of tracks coming up on the schedule that you could definitely get it done at.
Yeah, I look forward to it, man. I'll be a little more aggressive, hopefully, and if I could have got to Anthony, I would have definitely did what I had to do to get that win, and just didn't want to do too much, I guess. So look forward to getting one more to pass old Andrew Payne there, and before he gets another one, he's fast too. So he's not done yet by any means. So it's a good battle to try to catch up to first place and get by him.
Yep, that it will be, Ron. And I tell you what, my man, how we feeling, midway through the summer now? How are we doing in the real life racing? What are the expectation? What are the game plans here going for the rest of the season?
Speed, I'll give us an B plus. We've been fast, especially in the short run. Cars been really good. We've qualified top 8 out of 30 every week, and been really happy with that. Just had a lot of mechanical failures. One time I missed the setup really bad in the feature, so we got a 6th place one night, and then we pretty much broke or had issues every other night. So looking forward to getting back at it. We've had a month off now. But we had a couple races here to gear up for some big shows we got coming up this summer. So ready to get back at it. Hopefully, got our mechanical gremlins out of the way and can just go finish some races. And I think we'll have good results. We got the speed to do it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And Ron, you're racing as soon as this weekend, right?
Yeah, we're up at Owasso finally. It's going to be hot. But they got the big 4th of July show. And like I said, it's been a month since we've been back out there. We broke last time. We took the car to practice, felt good. Then our next race got rained out, and it's been sitting in the garage and jack stand since then. So don't really know what we got. We made some changes to it to try to make it better. Looking forward to, and we haven't raced at all in the heat. Every race we've had this year has been cold. So it's going to be a big change on Saturday, and hopefully we got it right.
Yeah, I hope so as well. And best of luck to you, Ron, this Saturday. But here tonight at RP, before we let you go, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank, whether sponsors, teammates, or anyone else you want to give a shout out to on the broadcast for the P number 2.
First, shout out to Chuck. Good racing with him tonight. I think we kind of figured out the strategy, put some good practice in to help us learn what we needed to do. So nice job there. Shout out also to Ace. He's getting his feet wet out here. Another clean race, top 15 finish, lead lap finish for him. No damage. So that's nice to see. I wish he'd do a little more practice during the week to get better, but he's getting better for sure every race night out here, and just trying to get a little more aggressive and be a little more confident in traffic. I think will help him. And then shout out to my parents who are probably watching tonight. Look forward to getting back to the racetrack with them on Saturday.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing you out on the track Saturday. And Ron, good luck with that there this weekend. But here tonight, my man, go celebrate the P number 2. I know you wanted that win, but P number 2 is still not bad when it's all things considered.
Thanks, Brett.
Alrighty, folks, that was our second place finisher, the 51 of Ron Hart. Now we'll head down to Victory Lane and talk to the man of the hour. It is the number 9 machine of Anthony Danta. Anthony, do you got a copy? It's Brett Jet in the booth here.
Yeah, I got you.
Alrighty, my man. First and foremost, how are we feeling after kind of a quick 75 laps when it's all things considered?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It was a good race. Lots of clean racing, and it was a good time.
Yeah, it definitely looked like it. You're able to quickly get up through the field, and then with that kind of bottleneck on the inside lane, all of a sudden you're sitting with no cars in front of you on the front row of restart number 2. I mean, man, you got up there quick.
Yeah, before that, took me a few laps to get by. I believe it was Chuck, maybe. And then I was like, man, it's going to be a hard 30 laps or so to get by these next few guys. My car was good, but it was kind of hard to pass. And then, like you said, that restart, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Yeah, that it is. And yeah, it seems like that, especially on sim racing, right? You need definitely old lady luck in your back pocket to finish well, all things considered.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and here tonight, picking up career win number one, that's got to feel pretty cool, especially compared to the competition. Like we talked with you a few weeks ago, you coming out here, getting some more seat time with these street stocks, and tonight it all fell together pretty well. I mean, did you have this race circled coming into tonight? Because this track, either people love it or hate it.
You got me or no?
Yep, we got you.
I don't know what happened there in my headset, but yeah, no, I enjoy this track. I've got to race on it a few times in real life, and it just suits my style. Got to be smooth and consistent, and hit your marks lap after lap to keep speed. And there's a lot of different things you could do to make the speed also. So I for sure was excited to come here, and I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, picking up a win, that's definitely very cool. And I gotta ask, what kind of cars have you driven around here? That's pretty cool. And how realistic is it compared to real life here compared to the sim?
Yeah, I've run my super late model here a few times, and then a pro late model. So both late models. And honestly, this is one of the first tracks I purchased years and years ago when I got the game because it was a track that I had been on. And the craziest thing is like the bumps and the seams and everything is just identical to it, and it races fairly similar. It's a little bit harder in real life to come off turn four. I'll say that it's a little easier in the game, but other than that, it's pretty spot on, and it's just an awesome track.
Yeah, that it is. And I'm sure in real life, it's much more sketchy with the G forces in the field, with the amount of speed you carry around IRP with that wall coming up as quickly as it does, kind of on both ends. But like you said, I bet especially turn number four.
Yeah, and a real car out there, it comes up quick, and you're sliding from, you get in the gas in the before the center, and you're kind of sliding all the way to the fence when you get tires wore out. So it's fun in real life, and it's also fun in the game. So like I said, I'm glad they came here. I think they said it's the first time they've been here with the street stocks, I believe. So it's pretty cool that when I started running with the series, they decided to come here.
Yeah, definitely really cool. So yeah, you go 1 for 1 then here at IRP. So you might be the man to beat if we ever return here. But yeah, here tonight, you seem like you had one of the cars, if not the car to beat. But then of course, ending things off with a sprint to the finish. We saw you, of course, choose that outside lane. I think that was a done given, but I mean, had to be stressing just a little bit. I'm sure you didn't want to see that yellow.
Yeah, no one wants to see a yellow light. I think I had maybe a close to a 3 second lead with like 8 laps to go, and that felt good. And then when I seen the yellow, I was like, man, you never know what could happen. And even though I thought I saved enough tire, it still was sliding around there a little bit at the end. So I was hoping that um, the guys behind me there were in the same boat, and I think they were. I messed up a little bit on my last lap in 1 and 2, and gave him a chance to go to the bottom in 3 and 4. But I knew if I just stayed where I was at, the only way he was going to get me is if there was contact. And I've raced around him a few times now to know that he seems to be very clean and race hard. So I just held my line, and I got the win, and I'm happy that that worked out for me.
Yeah, and like we've seen, you coming into this league here mid-season with a ton of speed. It was only a matter of time before the 9 car saw a victory lane, and you do it here tonight. Man, that is definitely some awesome, awesome stuff here. And looking to the schedule, now we got some bigger tracks. Do we kind of prefer the bigger tracks, or I'm sure, especially with you, driving the real life short track cars, you probably prefer to stay on the short track side of things, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a racer, so I like any track. I just enjoy doing it. It's something to stay busy and not be just sitting on the couch watching TV, and kind of keep my reflexes and my decision making on point for when I do get to hop in the big car. So I think Richmond is next, and I enjoy that track too. I've never run a street stock on it, so that should be pretty fun, I think. And we'll see what happens. Try to keep it clean and finish up front again if I'm able to.
Yeah, and then also coming up in the schedule, a combo that, very rarely ever seen, Street Stacks at Darlington, and then as well as one of the good barn burners last season, Street Stacks at Iowa. So 2 big time momentum tracks at some bigger tracks as well. Those will be exciting as well.
Yeah, I've had a chance to run Darlington with the street stock, and it was very fun. Iowa, I believe I have a long time ago, but those tracks are fun because, like you said, it's momentum, and you got to be very consistent and hit your marks because one little mess up in the corner, you can lose 3, 4 spots in one straightaway if you kill your momentum. So I enjoy that part of it. And yeah, it'll be fun. I'm enjoying the league so far. I appreciate them letting me jump in the middle of the year and race with them.
Yeah, Anthony, I tell you what, we appreciate you spending your weeknights with us out here putting on the show that all of us can enjoy. And I'm sure tonight, we'll feel really good going back and rewatching this because end up in victory lane. That is definitely something special. And, you add your name to now a lot of great other names that have visited victory lane here in ASRC.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, it's cool to get one, and hopefully I can get a few more before the season's over.
Yeah, I think so as well. Especially you get that lady luck, like we mentioned earlier in the interview. You get that on your side. Everyone else better watch out. So here tonight, Anthony, down in victory lane. We're going to go hand over the mic to you, of course, and thank who you got to thank here with picking up the checkered flag, whether sponsors, teammates, or anyone else you'd like to give a shout out to here on the broadcast.
Yeah. First and foremost, thank the guys for putting the league on. I know Tanner runs the street stock side of it. I don't know the sponsors. I'm going to work on that so I can thank the people that helped them put this on. So I appreciate whoever that may be that helps them do this league. And then Zach Coyer for getting me in here and racing with me, and Caleb Ramsey. He's been cool to hang out with in the room while we're racing. And then another person is my old lady upstairs. She, like I said last time, I think she's up there wrangling the 2 kids and getting them to take showers and go to bed, and I'm down here playing video games. So I appreciate her for letting me do that, and you guys for putting on the broadcast.
Awesome stuff. Well, appreciate the shout out there, Anthony. And like I said before, thank you for taking the time out of your night, racing with us, being part of the show that all of us get to enjoy, as well as you, my man. Go celebrate this first win, as well as have a great holiday weekend. Go celebrate the 4th of July. And I bet head into the weekend on a pretty good high note here on this Wednesday.
Yep. Thank you. Have a good weekend as well.
All righty. We'll chat with you, I'm sure, in the near future, but have a good one. All righty, folks. That was our race winner, Anthony Danta, in the number 9 machine, picking up his first ever career ASRC win. So that will do it here tonight with the post-race interview. So let's head on down now to kind of run through tonight's finishing order and get things wrapped on up. It looks like maybe the session might have already ended, so we'll see if we can get the overlays off the screen. And it looks like yes, we do. So let's see if we can get our race results out here done and away with tonight. Here we go. So Anthony Danta in the number 9 picks up his first career win. Ron Hart in the 51 will finish second. Chuck Darling in the 88 rounding out the podium. Regan Ford in the 20 machine. We got to give a shout out to Regan here tonight. Career night will finish P number 4. That is very, very impressive to see and awesome to see. Zach Coyer will hang on to a top 5. The 13 machine will finish 5th. Ty Delphia in the 013, biggest mover of the night, up 13 spots. He will finish in 6th. 7th going to Stephen Rochford in the 66. Tim Rogers in the 48 will hang on to the points lead with an 8th place finish. Scott Negus will finish 9th, and JJ McRae rounding out the top 10. Finishing in 11th is Devin McDonald. 12th going to Caleb Ramsey. 13th is Scott Rochford. 14th, Dave Payne. 15th is Ace Hart. 16th, Andrew Payne. 17th, Stephen Hoffman. And Logan Powers will finish 18th on tonight. So like I said before, folks, we got a lot of people to thank. First and foremost, we got to thank all the live viewers coming in here, tuning on in with us on these Wednesday nights. Got to give a shout out to all the replay viewers, as well as all the racers coming on out and putting on the show that we can enjoy. Also got to give a shout out to everyone at ASRC. If you want to find out more, check them out at American Sim Racing Club on Facebook, as well as the admins behind the scenes to make things happen, as well as the partners here at ASRC, that being LaPlante Racing Products, Boardwalk Subs, and Postma Flooring. So that would do it here tonight for race number 7 at IRP. Next week, we will take on the Richmond Raceway. Same time, same place on the Turn 3 Racing Network. You won't want to miss it. So Turn 3 also partnered with that logo in the bottom right of your screen. That is Premier Setup Shops. You can check them out with the link in the description. That'll take you over to the website. Even if you don't want to buy anything, it would mean a lot to me if you'd at least click the link, get that traffic over that way. And if you want to buy something, even better, you can use Turn 3 as kind of the reference link. And it benefits all of us partners there in that whole ordeal. So that will do it here tonight for race number 7. I should say, everyone have a great 4th of July weekend. Go celebrate it. Go see some fireworks. Go celebrate this independence that a lot of people have worked really hard for. Thanks again to all the military, everyone else that has made this great country into what it is today. So that'll do it for myself. I've been Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network, and I just flew by you. Have a good one, and have a great holiday weekend, and stay safe, everyone.